despite all of the bad action right now in the market, cybersecurity stocks continue to buck the trend. We're seeing Okta shares in the green, as well as CrowdStrike shares in the green as well. We've been highlighting the way that cybersecurity has become an issue in the coronavirus crisis, as top agencies around the world continue to warn that cyber criminals are stepping up their games to attack companies as more employees shift to a work from home basis. And for more on that, I want to bring on John Scimone. He is Dell Technologies Senior Vice President and Chief Security Officer, who joins us on the Hangout right now. And John, when we look at this, again, it's something that I always say. I mean, you don't want to see these bad actors increase their attacks on companies, but it does seem like that's been the case if you listen to top agencies. So what are you seeing out there right now, and what are you expecting companies to do to try and prevent it?
Yeah, so thank you for having me, Zach. What we're seeing, perhaps not surprising, is that criminals have stepped up in the wake of all the fear and uncertainty that this pandemic is creating, and seeking to take advantage, defraud users worldwide, and to monetize their crimes in different ways. I think that what we're seeing for the most part is really long-term proven methods for defrauding users, but capitalizing on the new themes of the pandemic, whether it be fake cures, whether it be news about sick family members and how to take care of them. We are seeing a spike in reports of fraud, phishing attacks, and other cyber crimes.
And when we talk about companies trying to, bolster their efforts to defend against these, there is a question of, if you're already kind of in times of uncertainty, whether or not you want to step those efforts up becomes a question of whether or not you actually have the funds to do so. So what are you kind of seeing the way companies might be getting creative with trying to combat these new threats, and the way that some might not be protected at all?
Sure. Well, I think first and foremost, companies can see a lot of benefit just from taking some basic steps in terms of training their employees on what these new risks look like. So what we're seeing is a dramatic transformation virtually overnight in terms of the workforce globally moving to a work from home posture. And with this, new risks are introduced, but a lot of those risks can be sufficiently mitigated by simple practices put in place by team members and employees, looking at things like, is your home internet set up securely? Is your device encrypted? Are you using the corporate VPN? A lot of these can capitalize on existing solutions just simply by training team members. At the same time, I think we've seen new technology challenges that have been introduced with this mass mobility move, really an acceleration of existing trend. I mean, even in Dell's case, highly mobile workforce, we've been working from home in some form or fashion for over a decade. But again, in a very short time period, seeing 4x the amount of users working from home on our VPN, over 90% of our 165,000 employees globally now supporting our customers, continuing to keep the business running, but from their homes or from another public remote setting. With this, we're needing to reach out and train these users on new ways of doing video conferencing, connecting into the corporate network, accessing their information, ensuring we continue to do it in a secure manner.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point. I mean, obviously the trend of work from home didn't just come out overnight because of a health crisis. We've seen that trend kind of happening, though it is getting accelerated here. I'm curious to know, based on you watching these trends over time, if the cyber attack kind of theme here has been a similar story, if you've seen that kind of increasing over time as the shift to work from home has been underway, or was it necessarily that now is truly just a time for people to step in here and say, look, there's a lot of vulnerabilities on systems that aren't prepped for this, and so overnight you saw an uptick, or was this a trend that a lot of people should have seen coming as well?
Well, I think the focus on security we've seen increasing over time with our customer base, and really it's a microcosm and really underpins the overall trends we're seeing with digital transformation as businesses across all industries are seeking to perform business in new ways with higher degrees of data, higher leverage of technology. And with that, foundationally comes the need to ensure that you're doing these new practices in a secure manner. So security is often the first conversation we have with customers, is a foundational underpinning to give them the confidence and the trust that they can place their digital transformation bets. I think what we see really that's unique in this pandemic is just the dramatic change, the level of agility that businesses are having to demonstrate to make quick decisions regarding ensuring that the security measures, in many cases that they'd already started to put in place, are appropriately accelerated as the workforce accelerates to this mass mobility movement.
All right, there you go. John Scimone, Dell Technologies SVP and Chief Security Officer, on the latest there. John, thanks so much for taking the time.
Thank you.
Hey investors, Zack Guzman here. Are you interested in learning more about the markets and getting the latest financial news? Well, then click right here to subscribe to our Yahoo Finance YouTube channel. Get the latest up-to-the-minute market analysis, big interviews in the world of finance, and information on how to manage your money every day wherever you are.